Okay, so today what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about how solving systems and what systems of equations are, okay? So systems of equations can be two or more equations put together. In particular, we're just going to talk about linear equations. And so linear, we're talking about like y equals mx plus b. We're talking about things that are lines only. We're not talking about different types of shapes like parabolas or absolute values. We're not talking about any of that. So when we're talking about linear functions and linear equations, we're talking about systems being two or more, okay? So things like y equals 3x plus 2 and y equals 7x minus 6. This is a system. And what we do is we contain it with that bracket over there. Now, the solutions to systems are very simple. Okay? The solutions are where the equations cross. Okay? Or intersect, right? So we're talking about where two lines or more lines intersect at a common point. That point being an x and a y value. And so what we're doing is we're trying to solve for x and we're trying to solve for y so that it satisfies this intersection, okay? Now there are three ways to do that, okay? The first way is to graph them. You can graph these equations like we've done in chapter 4. We can do that, and once you find the intersection of those, that's the answer to the problem. 2, we can use substitution. And that is where we have something that we can plug in to something else, which we'll look at some examples of that. And then 3, we can eliminate. So these are our three ways to solve systems. Now sometimes systems don't have solutions. So if you think about it, when would two lines not have a solution or where they would intersect? Well, that would be when they're parallel, right? So if I have two lines that are parallel, well, that means they're never going to cross, right? And so if they're never going to cross, they cannot have a solution. Okay. There's also infinite solutions, and that's when these two lines are the same line. They're laying on top of one another, okay? And so that's called coinciding lines. And so we do have special cases where we don't have solutions, and we have special cases where we have an infinite amount of solutions. But the three ways that we check to see if those work: graphing, substitution, and elimination.